In this week's episode, we'll be breaking down the Europa League game we had in Bulgaria, of course in the EPL, back to the EPL, away at St. Mary's versus Southampton, what's trending today, and of course, the name that everyone's talking about. He's coming home, Gareth Frank Bale. Guys, this is Spurs Nation. Welcome friends once again to Spurs Nation. Before we begin, I would like to thank all of you for all your love and support, for all the views and the shares on Facebook, on all the various platforms. So thank you so much. Remember, this show is for Spurs fans, by Spurs fans, and of course, if you are a football fan, do not worry. We'll also be talking about football. You are welcome to join the discussions. So today, Game 1, Week 1 is over. We lost to Everton, unfortunately. Of course, you can view the video of our post-game discussion below at the link. So, Game 2, Southampton. In between Game 1 and Game 2, of course, we have our European adventure, Europa League. We played this team called Lokomotiv. We can't probably pronounce the full name. So, we traveled all the way to Bulgaria. It was not an easy game to begin with. For the first time this season, we were all decked out in our yellow pajamas. Yeah, people have been calling names, yellow banana and all. But the most important thing is if we get results. Luckily, yesterday, after falling behind to a goal, we came back and won 2-1. The main takeaway for the game is this. Once again, our defense from a set piece. Once again, free kick. This time is a corner. Where was the defense? The thing of defense is we are very tall. But how are we losing all these headers, allowing opponents for free headers? Remember after the post game, after Everton, what was Jose saying? He was saying that we need to show some fight. We are too soft. Yesterday, it was the same thing until when we were behind. We managed to get a goal back. There was some controversy involved because two of the opponents got sent off. There was a penalty. Kane put it in. But when Donge and Coco went in, the game changed. Donge is starting to show us that why he cost us so much money, almost 60 million pounds of record signing. Yesterday, that goal, it's not about the goal, it's about the play. The 1-2, the smooth touches, and of course, like I mentioned before, you need Coco in to create havoc in the penalty box. What did he do? He went in, just messed up everything, ricochet shot, and Donge was there. So it was, there's of course bright spots. Talking about bright spots, this Sunday, we are playing Southampton. Last season, we played them twice, obviously. We beat them 2-1 at home. But after Jose took over, unfortunately, we lost to them 1-0 at St. Mary's. This Sunday, we are going back to St. Mary's again. Danny Ings, their main striker, scored a couple of goals against us. And just yesterday, we put in a cheeky bid for him. So according to press, according to reports, what we did was this. We asked Southampton to name their price for Danny Ings. I do not know, do we really need Danny Ings? Is it a real transfer? Or just to disrupt the whole Southampton? No, Southampton might be thinking, is Danny Ings leaving? And just so nice that we are playing them this weekend. Apart from that, we are going to get 2 new signings. Very exciting times. We'll be talking about that in the next segment. Welcome back. Segment 2. Of course, segment 2 is what's trending today. So what is trending today? The big news. Our 2 big transfers. Everyone's been complaining that Daniel Levy is not going to sign any players. We are doomed. After the first game, the loss, we are doomed. But let me touch on the first signing first. 30 million. I think it should be 23 plus add-ons. Sergio Reguilón. He was supposed to be going to Manchester United, but for the first time in our history, I think, instead of them hijacking us, we are hijacking their player. So what happened is this, Sergio is a left back. So he was a Real Madrid player, but he was on loan in Sevilla last season. Played in the Europa. Of course, he won the Europa, as you all know. He's voted one of La Liga's best left back. Young Spanish international. What else can you ask for? So the deal includes a buyback clause of probably around the region of 45 million. So I have friends telling me that, hey, You are getting this good player. What if he turns out to be the best left back in the world, and then you got to sell him back to Real for 45 million? Here's my reply: at least we have the best left back in the world for one season, and then we make some money of it. I think almost 15 million. So that's Sergio. But the big news everyone is talking about, for the first time in a long time, the news are all talking about us. Not for a bad thing, but he is coming home. Who am I talking about? Of course, Gareth Frank Bale. Who is he, you might add? He is probably one of our best players in the modern era. We sold him off to Real Madrid for a world record of probably, I think, 100 million euros. So where was he? He was at Real Madrid. Over, I think, about 215 games, he scored about more than 100 goals, almost 68 assists. 4 Champions League medals. Of course, out of the 4 Champions League finals, he scored 3 winning goals. How can anyone forget that bicycle kick he scored against Liverpool? So unfortunately, he was out of favour for I don't know what reason. I was speculating because he had longer hair than Zidane, that's why. So not being used in Real, he wants to come home, and he's coming home. Gareth Bale, everyone's asking, will he be able to fit into the team? Because right now we are all talking about Kane is the big boy. Will Kane be able to play with Sonny? Just imagine these guys. The front line of Kane. On your right you have Bale. On your left you have Sonny. That is scary. You all have talking about the Holy Trinity. You have Mane, Salah, Firmino. You have, I don't know, Aubameyang and whoever. But Kane, Bale and Sonny. That is one scary lineup, you know. Bale, where can he fit in? We all know that he's a lateral left footer. Saw that goal he scored against Barca in the Copa del Rey. On the left, he basically scored one of the best goals in Copa del Rey history. Pushing the ball, going through, running havoc on the left flank. Exactly what he did against Inter Milan. Remember Maicon? Hi Maicon, you got a taxi yet? So, if not, you can always put him on the left, on the right. Right, he's also well known to be a right inverted player. From the right, he'll bring the ball to the center, shoot, goal. And of course, we don't forget about his ability to take spot kicks and of course free kicks. So with Bale, I think it's not only about top 4. No, start of the season we were talking, can we even get top 4? No, now with Bale and Reguilón, we are talking about maybe even competing for the title. Yes, he has not kicked a ball for a very long time, as we know. So what he's doing in the stands, he's doing these things and all. Playing golf, Wales, golf, Real in the order. So I believe now it will be Wales, Spurs and golf. Real is out of the picture now. He's coming to us on a 1-year loan. After this year, probably in July, he'll be going back to Real, but the way things are, I don't think he'll be going there. Hopefully, he'll make an impact again and show us once again why he's our homeboy. The question now is 11. Currently, that's his number being held by the player bought in to replace him, Coco Lamela. So, I was telling my friends, why don't Bale just get the number 9 or number 3 that he's been holding for the longest time? Remember when Bale left? And also all the joke now is Daniel Levy signed 26 players to replace Bale, and in the end he got Bale back to replace Bale. So the irony there. He's only 31, so I don't know what is this hoo-ha about him. Can he still perform at the top level? No. The answer to the question is, as a matter of fact, the proper question is, how well will he play? He was supposed to be the poster boy and the next player after Ronaldo for Real, but unfortunately things happened. Even though he did not have the best of times in the later years of his Real Madrid career, but look at the credentials he had, man. The number of trophies, medals, goals he scored. So coming to Spurs, I think he will be a very impactful player. So with Mourinho's style of play right now, as we know, is a lot of counter-attacking. So we got fast players like Lucas, Sonny, Bergwijn, and now Bale. So Kane do not need to track back anymore. He can just wait for the balls. So it's really exciting times ahead for us. So Spurs fans, Spurs Nation fans, please comment on our Facebook, on our YouTube, on where you think that Bale can fit in, and do you think that Bale is the right marquee signing? I mean, as of now, we are talking on a Friday, he is still not officially a Spurs player yet, but according to very reliable sources, even the very famous reporter Fabrizio Romano, medical is done. It was done in Madrid already, so now we are just waiting for them to fly over to the Tottenham training ground to do all the contract signing and all. And the deal, as rumored, is basically Real will be playing 60% of the pay, 40% will be topping up. Even the 40% we are looking at approximately, I think, 250 to 300,000 per week. So we are well known to be misers. Nothing going above 150. Once in a while we give Kane 200, and now Bale 300. So are you surprised that we are making such marquee signings? So what's trending on the internet today, and of course on chat groups about football all over the world? Let me bring out my Twitter machine. Okay, let's touch on 3 important topics that everyone has been debating about. So first one, is Gareth Bale a has-been? Why did Real Madrid let him go? He's 31 years old and he hasn't played in a while. That's a very good question. I mean, everyone has their own opinion, but here's my opinion. Is Bale a has-been? Why is Real Madrid letting him go? We have to remember this. Real Madrid is well known to be a very fickle-minded team, full of Galacticos, that they will just let go. Look at Snyder. He was let go of Real Madrid. Everyone thought that's the end of it. Went over to Inter Milan. And who's the manager there? Jose Mourinho. What did they do? They won the treble, the Serie A, their Italian Cup, and of course the Champions League. Next, Arjen Robben. He went over to Bayern Munich. Look how many championships he won. And then, of course, Rafael van der Vaart came to us at probably almost at twilight of his career. Legend for us. So Bale, he's already a legend at the club. He's now back at the club that he loves, that he made his name at. He loves the club. There's a reason why he rejected so many Champions League clubs to play with us, because he's been there, done that. He don't need the Champions League, all these glitz anymore. He wants to play football again, and that's what his agent said as well. So another question, at 31, is he still able to perform? Guys, Lionel Messi is 33. Is he one of the best players in the world today? Yes, he is. Cristiano Ronaldo, 35, still banging in the goals like he's like 22. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, look at him. So players like Gareth Bale, they will just age like fine wine. They'll probably have another 3 or 4 seasons until they're 34, 35. So I would say that this is a very shrewd buy, and it's been well known that Jose wants to work with Bale. Unfortunately, when he went to Real Madrid, when he left Real Madrid, Bale just arrived. So this time is a dream come true for not only Jose, but also for Spurs fans. Next question, 300,000 a week. Will it bring disharmony to the locker room, and will Kane be able to get along with him? I mean, 300,000 a week. It is a lot of money, but you have to understand that he's actually earning 600,000 a week. So the rest are being subsidized by Real Madrid. Can he get along with the locker room? There are reports that he don't get along in the Real Madrid locker room because this is Gareth Bale. He's a rare homeboy. He likes to play golf. He don't go out for late night clubbings and all. And unfortunately, he didn't pick up the Spanish language. That's why he didn't really get along with the locker room. But then again, not getting along doesn't mean that he's a troublemaker. Look, over here, he has players, young players like maybe Kane, Winksy, players that grew up in the club looking up to him when he was with us the first time round. So I don't think him fitting into the club, into the locker room will be a problem. As a matter of fact, I think he will be a locker room leader. Jose have already put it very clearly that he wants leaders, he wants fight. That is what Gareth Bale will bring onto the table. Next, the third question. Oh, this is a good one. Now with Bale, Sonny and Kane as a front three, where does it leave Lucas, Bergwijn? Okay, Lucas and Bergwijn, they are almost a similar kind of players as Sonny and of course Bale, but not as lethal. Lucas, our Champions League hero, he will always be our hero and is already a legend in the club. Obviously, he has a role to play. This year, we are going to play a lot of games. Just this month alone, I think we are going to play 9 to 10 games. Rotation will come to the picture. Imagine this, you have Bale, Sonny and Kane, and on the sideline warming up on the 60th minute when your opponents are tired, people like Lucas, Bergwijn warming up to come in, bring in a brand new burst of energy. I think that Lucas will be able to play a role, definitely. Of course, Bergwijn, young player that Jose wanted, he has been performing for us ever since he came over from PSV. So I don't think there's a problem about Lucas and Bergwijn fitting in. It's actually about how will Jose bring the best out of these attacking players that he has at his disposal. Which brings us to the next question. Dele Alli. So rumors have it that part of the deal for Bale and Sergio to come over was actually to send Dele over. So after the news came out that Dele was was offered to Real Madrid, we don't know how true that is. He was left out of the squad to the Europa game in Bulgaria. So of course, Jose left almost 8 first team players at home for rest. But now that Dele Alli is already having all these bad vibes from the All or Nothing documentary, and recently he's not been performing well, now that he's being offered, in a way, the club trying to tell him that Dele, we have enough of you, time to move on. Will it affect his psyche? We all know that he's not basically the strongest of mind players around. So will this affect Dele, or will this push Dele to the next level? We just have to stay tuned to watch it. So that's all for what's trending today. Once again, we have come to the end of Spurs Nation. Remember, this week we are away at St. Mary's. The last time we went there, 1-0 to them. Danny Ings scoring the winner. So this time round, my prediction, 1-0 to us, Harry Kane. So before we go, once again, remember to like, comment, share and subscribe to our channel. I know it's hard for me to say goodbye, but good things have got to end. Goodbye now. Remember, to dare is to do, but don't anyhow do. But before I forget, I better sort my fantasy football league. Ciao.